Tara, basa. History of the Filipino people. Continuation natin guys ng part 1, Pre-Colonial Philippines. Continuation natin sa common traits pa rin tayo. Jealousy. Today is November 6, 2022. Basahin natin kung saan tayo matapos sa doon hanggang doon lang tayo. So, continuation lang tayo palagi. Common traits, then dito tayo sa paragraph jealousy. Kung mayroon kayong History of the Filipino People na book guys by Agoncillo and Guerrero, sundan ako ng basa. Jealousy is another trait of the Filipino. He does not look with favor on a woman who flirts with several men. To him, the sweethearts or the wife's eyes are meant only for him and for no other. Even his closest friend cannot kiss his wife with impunity on the pretext that it is a brotherly kiss. The Filipino therefore requires complete faith and loyalty of his wife or sweetheart. A deviation from this unwritten law oftentimes leads to bloody mess, as the cases of the Filipinos in the United States attest. In the one case, the Filipino, a woman, accidentally shot her gallivanting husband. In the second, the Filipino, a man, was accused of butchering his American sweetheart. Bloody killings, often enough reported in the daily newspapers, are frequent and are usually the upshot of jealousy. For to a Filipino, blood is required to wash the stain on his honor. This may seem bloody enough to a Westerner, but to a Filipino, in whose veins flows the Malay hot blood, to kill or to be killed is an easy way to avenge his honor. The Filipino, too, is regionalistic. He does not think in terms of national boundaries, but in regional oneness. This feeling is an extension of the closeness of family ties. Invariably, the Filipino believes that the person known to him, no matter how bad, is better than the one unknown to him, no matter how good. Thus one finds college or university students calling a meeting of all those who come from the Ilocos, from Bulacan, from the Bicol region, from the Visayas, and so forth. And one finds to the political situation in which a Visayan candidate for the presidency of the Republic has a running mate who comes from Luzon, or vice versa. And the choice of candidates for senators, the principle of regional representation is followed, although the senators are elected at large. Then in majority of cases, a Tagalog president gives preference to his fellow Tagalogs in appointments to high positions. The same is true with an Ilocano president or a Visayan president, with the possible exception of ex-President Sergio Osmeña. Among Filipinos, the Tagalogs are the least, if at all, regionalistic. So strong is this regionalistic feeling that the Filipino of one region looks down upon his countrymen of another region. This strong regionalistic feeling may be traced to the Spanish administrators who pursued a policy of divide and conquer. The Spanish pattern of behavior in this regard is abundantly proved by the way the numerous revolts and uprisings were put down. Since there were few Spaniards in the Philippines, they pressed into service, say the Pampangos, to put down an Ilocano uprising. A Pampanga revolt, on the other hand, was put down by the Ilocano soldiers. A Tagalog revolt was usually put down by the Pampangos under the leadership of the Spaniards, and so on. Thus, instead of uniting the Filipinos as a people, the Spaniards succeeded in dividing them by appealing to their regionalistic pride and prejudices. Probably the most discussed trait of the Filipino, especially by the white foreigners and by some Filipino sociologists and psychologists who carry around their bags of esoteric terms, is the sense of pakikisama. Simple as the term may appear, summarily learned, the Filipino trait has not been fully understood, especially in its connotations. In its original connotation, pakikisama may be translated loosely as the intensive signification of camaraderie, or spirit of comradeship, the main elements of which are unselfishness, and good faith. There is therefore no element of deceit or dishonesty or subversion of justice attached to the term. Thus the terms mabuting makisama and its opposite masamang makisama really refer to a person's way of dealing with his fellow men. If he is selfish or he is incapable of empathy, or if he considers himself an island entire of itself, he is described as masamang makisama. But if he is an understanding one, unselfishly helpful, and participates cheerfully in any community work, he is described as mabuting makisama. Today, however, owing mainly to the inroads of civilization, particularly of politics and materialism, the term pakikisama has been to many people, especially to the so-called sophisticated, debased into an attitude that makes an amiable crook like or at least admired. For a person to be described as mabuting makisama, he must be dishonest mentally or otherwise, or unjust or unfair or unprincipled by subverting justice in order to be in good graces of many naive people, or to use the badly battered cliche, to have a good public image. He is mabuting makisama if he subverts justice to place his relatives, friends, idolaters, subservient followers, or relatives of his queridas, backstreet women. Queridas is backstreet women pala. Enjoys the positions even without any qualification. He is mabuting makasama if, as administrative head of a university, college, or department, he promotes the fawning, nincompoops, and ignoramuses, the servile flatterers, and the slavish dolts to high positions, or gives them privileges not given to men and women, whose honor, integrity, and self-respect inhibit from them acting like serfs. He is mabuting makisama if he helps a friend, a political follower, a relative. Alam niyo guys, ang pinakamaganda, yung mabuting pakikisama. Makisama mabuti para maraming friend. Kaya lang, huwag naman abusuhin ng mga friend. Okay? He is mabuting makisama if he helps a friend, a political follower, a relative, or a subservient subaltern by stealing from the public in order to practice bogus philanthropy. On the other hand, he is masamang makisama who is too honest and just to pervert justice, who refuses to kowtow to imbeciles and morons with high administrative positions, who insist on merit and merit alone, not on subservience or political or personal connections as the basis of promotion, or who refuses to steal from the public treasury in order to have something to give to his querida or to his lazy friends and relatives. Thus, in Filipino society today, the most popular and highly respected people are not the honest intellectuals and artists, but the respectable robbers in high public positions, the expert in issuing press releases praising themselves for fictitious achievements, the crooked public relations men who are adept at twisting facts in order to make an idiot appear ingenious in public, and the unprincipled politicians who have never heard of decency and honor. The beautiful Filipino trait of pakisama has therefore been denuded of its nobility by the political imperatives and by the perverted sense of values that have dominated the character of many Filipinos precisely since the last World War. That noble trait has disappeared from the urban centers and can only be found in its pristine form in the backward hamlets, where the people have either been untouched by civilization or have been able to successfully their simple life against the inroads of crass materialism. Such is the profile of the Filipino. Like all men the world over, he has the weaknesses of the fallen Adam. Okay guys, ito, like all men the world over, he has the weaknesses of the fallen Adam, but he too has his strengths, and with this too, he finds his way in and about the society in which he lives and expects to die. Regional traits. Wait. Hinta na tayo. Ang tunod. Ini-stress ko kasi yung linti ko. Regional traits na tayo guys. So bukas continuation na tayo. Sakop na sang regional traits. Mag-ano lang ako ng ilang paragraph. May oras pa naman eh. Regional traits that the milieu of environment exerts an influence in molding the character of a Filipino is proved in the Philippines, where different regions exhibit different and oftentimes opposite traits. These traits, which may be termed regional, have been the upshot of economic and social factors. Thus, in poor, isolated regions, the inhabitants are frugal and industrious, while in more opulent areas, the people are known for their careless abandon and love of the finer things of life. But some characteristic regional traits are, however, difficult to explain in precise economic or social terms. Let us then begin from the north and work our way to the south. So, hinto na tayo dito guys. So, bukas dito tayo sa from the north. Okay, isa pa guys. From the north comes the Ilocano or Samtoy, as he wants to be called. An excursion into the northern region reveals that the Samtoy is found in the non-Ilocano provinces of Abra, Cagayan, Nueva Vizcaya, Northern Nueva Ecija, Pangasinan, Zambales, and a part of Tarlac. The Ilocos region is hemmed in on one side by forbidding mountain ranges and on the other by the restless sea, so that economic opportunities are limited. The small piece of land that he cultivates is not sufficiently fertile to yield abundant crops, such as an environment could only produce adventurous, industrious, hardy, patient, and frugal people. Economic pressure forces him to migrate to some greener valleys, either in Mindanao or in Hawaii and continental United States. There, because of his patience, industry, and frugality, he carves out his fortune and most of the time succeeds. He is not one to stay put in a locality if better opportunities in some land beacon. It is for this reason that one finds the Samtoy everywhere in the Philippines. Ang tawag pala minsan sa Ilocano guys is Samtoy. So mayroon tayo natutunan dyan. Another vocabulary words, dictionary word. Ilocano or Samtoy. Samtoy frugality is proverbial and compares favorably with that of the Scot. It has been the custom of the Filipino to foot the bill if he happens to invite his companions to stay a dinner or a round of drinks. It would be difficult for the Samtoy under the circumstances to dig into his pockets to take charge of the situation. This is because he earns his money the hard way, and he is not one to nullify his efforts by being a spendthrift. Mention has been made of the barren north, nature not being so kind to him. The Samtoy finds his surroundings not conducive to humor. Anybody who sees humor in such kind of environment is a born humorist. The Samtoy is not a born humorist. He takes life seriously and considers it an object of struggle. That is why he appears sluggish and shy and creates the impression that he is getting ready to wrestle with the surrounding forces. He takes time in deliberating and appears hesitant in his manners. This lumbering characteristic of the Samtoy is shown not only in his physical movements but also in his writings. He is not the lyrical type, he is rather the epic type. Thus it is that he developed epic poetry as exemplified by Biag ni Lamang, Life of Lamang, a kind of poetry that requires sustained effort. Then so while his mood is meditative, his style is nevertheless rather elephantine. Compare the prose of Samtoy. Stalwarts as Salvador P. Lopez, Leopoldo Y. Yabes, Manuel A. Argelia, and Consorcio Borges would say that of Federico Mangajas, A. Aguilar Cruz, Carmen Chinacpil, N. V. M. Gonzalez, Jodoro M. Locsin, Nick Joaquin, and other non-Samtoys, and one immediately senses the dragging style of the former and the easy mellifluous ripple of the latter's prose. Of all Filipinos, the Samtoy is the most regionalistic. So, bukas dito naman tayo sa Central Plains. Tapos na tayo sa Samtoy. Bye everyone, God bless.